Glad to have you with us here on Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones here. And the UFL season, the United Football League, which was the first year of the combined XFL and USFL together, their season wrapped up over the weekend, and they have plenty of players that are looking for their name to be called to get a chance to earn a spot on a roster in the upcoming NFL season. The Seahawks have already signed one in Ricky Person Jr., the running back from the Birmingham Stallions. Who else could they potentially add? I got 5 players that could sign with Seattle coming up on today's show. Before we do that, though, folks, we have a challenge going on this month here at Chat Sports. We are trying to see who can be in the top 10 for new subscribers to their respective channels. And if you look at the list, I hate to inform you all, Seahawks Today is not in that top 10. I would love to crack the top 10 of the most subscribers added for the month of June. So if you're a diehard Seahawks fan, you want to be a part of our daily news and rumors, our live shows that we're doing twice a week, breaking news, mailbags, and more, this is your Seahawks offseason headquarters. Join the family. Subscribe now. Let's beat the Niners, the Raiders, the Broncos, the Vikings, all those frauds. Subscribe now, youtube.com/SeahawksTV. Let's begin with Breeland Speaks, the edge rusher who spent this past season with the Michigan Panthers squad. And he was pretty impressive this year with the Michigan squad as he was the UFL's Defensive Player of the Year. Led the UFL in sacks, and he has NFL experience. If you go back to 2018, he was a second-round pick out of Ole Miss by the Kansas City Chiefs. And one of the funny things about him, you may recall, if you're trying to remember who these guys are, Breeland Speaks, when he was at Ole Miss, he had this gif that was made famous of when he recovered a fumble of him just grinning ear to ear. That guy is who we're talking about, Breeland Speaks. Never really quite found his footing in Kansas City, but since going to the UFL, he was fantastic. Look at the numbers from this past season. 31 total tackles, 10 sacks, 13 tackles for loss there with the Michigan Panthers. Was a dynamic player, and you have to think he's going to get another shot at the National Football League. He showed off the talent that he was in college, of why he was a second-round pick. And his time in Kansas City didn't really turn out to be a scheme fit for what the Chiefs were wanting to do. So obviously there's talent there. It's just got to be put together. And the Seahawks have some question marks at the edge rusher position beyond Uchenna Nwosu and Boye Mafe. Is Darrell Taylor going to be able to get it done? Is Derek Hall going to be able to put it together? Breeland Speaks could come in and compete for some playing time potentially. Should the Seahawks sign Breeland Speaks? What do you guys think? Type S for sign, P for pass. Add some depth to the edge rusher position. Weigh in. Let us know. Next up, let's talk linebacker. It's no secret the Seahawks need some help at the linebacker position, as right now Terrell Dodson is hurt, Jerome Baker is hurt, John Radigan and Tyrese Knight kind of leading the way, if you will. So what about DeMarquis Gates as a potential option? He was a champion this year in the UFL with the Birmingham Stallions, who won their 3rd straight championship. Doesn't matter if they were playing the USFL or the UFL. Skip Holtz has got a good program running there. Previous NFL experience with the Browns, the Commanders, the Vikings, and the Bears. Played alongside Breeland Speaks at Ole Miss. He was undrafted back in 2018. His statistics, not over the top. 37 total tackles and 2 sacks this past year there with the Birmingham Stallions. But he is a name to potentially watch as far as that goes. Let's stay on defense now, and we'll turn our attention to a very familiar name in the National Football League, Kai Nacua. And for those wondering, yes, he is related to Puka Nacua. More on that coming up in just a bit. Kai Nacua, undrafted in 2017 out of BYU. Played for several different teams across the National Football League, the Browns, the Ravens, the Panthers, the Colts, the 49ers, and the Jets. And he was fantastic this past season in the UFL as he made the All-UFL team, the first team of best players in that league, Also was the interceptions leader, tied for the league lead in INTs this past season with 3. And here's the connection we're talking about here. Kai is Puka Nacua's older brother, the rookie Pro Bowl receiver for the Los Angeles Rams. So comes from a good pedigree, if you will, there in that Nacua family. And you think about his brother Puka was not a guy that was high on draft boards last year and kind of just shocked the world, right, with the season that he had. Maybe Kai is potentially being overlooked here. And you look at the safety position, the Seahawks going to start Rayshon Jenkins and Julian Love. Still kind of looking for a third option, if you will. There's some question marks surrounding Kobe Bryant. We don't know what Kayvon Wallace is going to do. Maybe you bring in Kai Nacua to compete for playing time in that safety room potentially. Who's a player from the UFL that you would like to see the Seahawks sign? Give me a name. We've talked about a few so far. Got a couple more to get to coming up in just a moment, but want to hear from you guys. Weigh in the comment section. Let us know what you think. Let's go receiver now, and we turn our attention to Marcell Ateman, the wide receiver who was with the St. Louis BattleHawks this past season. And if that name is familiar to you, it wasn't too long ago that he was a star at Oklahoma State, part of a very dynamic offense with the Cowboys under Mike Gundy, and was one of the top targets in that offensive system there at Oklahoma State. Ended up being a 7th-round pick, went to the Raiders, then bounced around to a couple different teams with the Cardinals and the Bills. He's gotten a little chance to compete. 19 career games played with 2 starts in the National Football League. His numbers this past year, not anything off the charts, if we're going to be honest here. 17 catches, 208 yards, 12.2 yards per reception, 3 touchdowns. But let's see what he could potentially do. You look at the Seahawks wide receiver room. We know about the first 4, right, with DK, Tyler Lockett, JSN, and Jake Bobo. But beyond that, it is an open competition for that 5th spot with D. Eskridge, with Chenault, and a couple of those other guys there. We'll see if Marcell Ateman could be a potential possibility there. I want to know, be honest with me, tell the truth here. Did you watch a single UFL game this season for the love of football? I will be honest, I actually did. I did watch some UFL football this year. The stands, the people in attendance, kind of pathetic, if I'm going to be honest with you. But the UFL wasn't a bad product. I mean, it was football in the spring. What did you expect? What do you guys let me know? Did you watch the UFL? Why for yes, in for no? Last on our list, we have to talk offensive linemen, specifically interior linemen. This is where we find Deontay Brown, the offensive guard, on our list. And you look at Deontay Brown, it wasn't too long ago, he was a 6th-round pick out of Alabama. He was a first-team All-SEC guy there with the Crimson Tide, won 2 national titles. I mean, when you think Deontay Brown, you just have to say champion, right? 2 college football titles, won a UFL title this past year there with the Birmingham Stallions. And the scouting report, not too bad. This could be what the Seahawks are potentially looking for. Very wide, thick, and powerful, lower body, drive to push defenders. He's a bit choppy. He's disciplined with his feet. Sharp pass and receive against twists. He can take that on well. The big knock on him, the thing that's kind of held him back, if you will, is that he lacks functional quickness on that front. But overall, not a bad potential option for the Seahawks if they're looking for some O-line depth there at the interior on that front. Thanks for joining us here on this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. I mean, who else is talking UFL guys for the Seattle Seahawks? That's what we do here on Seahawks Today. We're bringing you live shows twice a week. We get our daily news and rumors. We're bringing you our mailbags, breaking news. It's all in one place. All the latest happenings in your favorite team right here on Seattle Seahawks Today. Let's do our part. Win this month-long sub-battle among Chat Sports. Subscribe now, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. Stay up to date with everything in your Seattle Seahawks, live twice a week. Have a great weekend. I'm Tyler Jones, and I will see you next time right here on Seattle Seahawks Today.